Hey everyone, and welcome to another installment of Board Games Hitting My Table. So this is a series where I talk about all the non-new to me board games that I've played over the last couple of weeks, just to give you an idea of what I've been playing. I've not had a very productive couple of weeks in terms of gaming, only got 5 games here to show you, which is pretty poor, because most of the new games that I've been playing are a bit more involved than usual and have taken a lot more time. Before I get into the games, I want to give a shout out to the show's sponsor, Kienda.co.uk. Be sure to check out their great website if you live in the UK, because they have some great loyalty schemes, and if you use my discount code you can get 5% off your first order. But let's crack on with what I've been playing. So first up, I have played a solo game of Underwater Cities. So if you watch my content regularly, you might know that solo games are not really my regular thing to go to. It is a bit of an exception for me to do this, but I did have this nagging kind of itch to come and play Underwater Cities because I haven't played it in such a long time. And I thought, the best way to get it to the table and get it played is to do it solo. And this game is actually relatively involved. It's quite a complex engine builder with a lot going on, but the great thing about this game is that you can pretty much just dive straight back into it, and I was really impressed about how little brush up it took me to get straight back into the gameplay without any rule niggles or things getting in the way of me having a good time. It's a very challenging solo mode, but and I lost miserably, but I still enjoyed the process and thought I was doing well, but obviously that wasn't the case. If you're not familiar with this game, it's a very involved engine builder. You've got cards to do pretty much everything in this game, and it mixes this hand management system with worker placement in a great concept, because every worker placement spot has a colour assigned to it, and as do these cards. And if you use a certain worker placement spot, you can play a matching card to go with it. And there's pretty much every degree of engine building you can imagine in this game. It's such a solid experience, so many different avenues to go down, and I had a blast. So that is Underwater Cities. I also played a 3-player game of High Society, a very kind of classic auction style game, almost a really closed economy one actually, as everyone has an identical set of cards and you're using these cards, which are basically your currency, to buy other cards which are going to just give you victory points. But also you're trying to pay not to take negative cards. And that is one of my favourite parts of this game. Now, I also love the twist in this game where whoever spent the most money at the end of the game automatically gets disqualified from winning. So you have to be quite frugal and careful about what the other people are, or kind of mentally track what the other people are spending. And this was probably the weirdest game of High Society that I've played yet, where the end game in this, or the kind of end game trigger in this game, is when these dark cards get revealed. And for us, those dark cards got revealed really early, like in the first quarter of the deck, meaning that the game ended when one person had already spent a fortune and wasn't able to recuperate, and the other person had ended up spending a bunch of their money not to take negative cards. So it came down to whoever had the most money, and the one person with the most money is the one that pretty much didn't do anything, so they kind of won by default. So it was a really weird game of High Society, and it goes to show that anything can happen in this game, but I still love it. Only plays in about 20 minutes or so, and there's a lot of depth here, even if it doesn't go as planned. So that is High Society, been a classic in my collection and a long stay for many, many years. Next game we played was a 5-player game, I believe, of Las Vegas Royale. So this is a very simple dice rolling area majority style game based on these kind of casinos, I suppose. And all you're doing in this game is you're rolling a big cluster of your dice and you're allocating them, or picking one of the pip values, so you are all the ones, and allocating them to the one casino. And whoever's got the most dice in each casino is going to get the biggest paycheck in that casino. However, the first 3 casinos, which are the ones that dish out the smallest amount of cash, offer you a little mini game to try and play, such as trying to roll doubles or things, or just like little push your luck games, and they're all very fun. And I think this is a wonderful game. I think maybe 5 players might be 1 player too many, but I don't think it's bad. I think my sweet spot for this game is the 4-player, but it is nice to bring out a game to cater to 5 players that isn't more of a party game, and you can still get a game of this done in, say, 45 minutes, which is great. Some really good player interaction, some back and forth, and just a high energy, fun game that's never failed to impress. So still going strong for me, this one. That is Las Vegas Royale. The penultimate game we've been playing is I think it was another 5-player game of Detective Club, which was featured on my new games last month. So this is kind of a Dixit variant. However, this one, basically one person is going to select the clue based on the cards they have in their hand, and then they're going to write this clue on this notebook. dish it out to all players but one. And now that one person who doesn't know almost has to kind of wing it and bluff that they know the answer, because at the end, everybody's going to vote on who they think the undercover person is who doesn't know the clue is. So think of something like Spyfall, but a lot more lighthearted and a lot more breezy. I like this one. It's just an easy game just to get out and just sit back and enjoy the process without worrying too much about scoring or anything like that. Look at some nice artwork, and I think it just tends to go down well. All these Dixit style games tend to go down well with my game group, because sometimes you don't want a massive brain burner Euro game. You just want to just sit back, relax, and have some fun. And Detective Club offers that experience. So that is Detective Club. And finally, we played of course, a two-player game of Mandala. So Mandala's been a real mainstay of this series since I started it. One of my favourite two-player games, if not my favourite two-player game of all time. One of those clever little card games you could imagine, as you are managing this hand of cards to claim cards from the centre row here. You can only bid with cards that your opponent hasn't bid with yet, or ones that aren't up for collection. And then the way you collect these cards is whoever's bid the most by the time all the colours appear in one of these mandalas is going to claim the card they want first, and then you're going to collect them in order, where the ones you collect later are worth more points than the ones you collect earlier. So it's got this really cool kind of fluctuating economy throughout the game. I must admit I have a fantastic record at this game. I don't know why, because I don't think I'm particularly good at it, but it's become a bit of an in-joke now with me and my mum, who I play with this a lot. And I think she's still yet to beat me at it. So I still adore this game. I think it's absolutely brilliant. In fact, I think it's a masterpiece, and definitely one of my most highly rated two-player games. And I'm not even slightly tired of it after all these plays and all these months. So that is Mandala, the final non-new to me game I played in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm sorry I haven't got too many games to show you here, but the roundup that's going to come out probably tomorrow or the day after is going to be pretty awesome. I think I played a lot of big games, and spoiler alert, I played some pretty excellent games. So be sure to keep an eye out for my monthly roundup. But that concludes it really. If you have enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe to my channel, and check out my other content too. And for everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye bye.